AI generated subtitles in the free version of DaVinci Resolve. I grab my create subtitles, put it on my timeline, give it a click in the inspector. There's a few options. I'm going to hit create subtitles, and then we just wait for a moment. And while we wait, it's a good time to let you know that this video is sponsored by our good friends over at AUDIIO, but more on those in a moment. It's exported a video, it's now transcribing, and just like that, we have proper AI generated subtitles in the free version of DaVinci Resolve. Then I can grab my other Magic Subtitles Lite, put it on the timeline, ingest those subtitles, then change the font, the style, add drop shadows, do a load of stuff to make these subtitles look exactly how we like them, and more. What's going on, folks? It's Alex here, and yes, Magic Subtitles Lite is here. This is my subtitle plugin that's designed for the free version of DaVinci Resolve. And yes, there's a completely free version for you to download and use today. There is also a full version of Lite, which is just $20, and that includes 33 different templates, and it does a load of additional funky word for word animations and stuff as well, but we'll come back to that a little bit later. First up, essential information and how it works. You do need to be on at least DaVinci Resolve version 20.2.1 to get this to work. So you need to be on a late current version of DaVinci Resolve, free or studio. Although if you are on the studio version, I highly recommend that you check out Magic Subtitles Pro instead, which is designed for the studio version, but it just uses the inbuilt transcriptions and inbuilt AI generated subtitles within DaVinci Resolve Studio instead, plus some other fancy UI things that you just can't do in the free version. Now, this was designed primarily on Windows, but I have tested it and it does work on both Windows and Mac OS. So, how does it actually work? Well, it's all thanks to something called OpenAI's Whisper. OpenAI are the guys that make ChatGPT, and they made Whisper, which is a free offline transcription package engine thing that does these transcriptions. However, it is a bit of a faff to use on its own. Fortunately, some nice individual out there created something called Vibe. Vibe uses Whisper, so it uses the same thing, but it just has a really nice UI on it and some other niceties in the background which make it way easier to use. It's also completely free. You can download it and install it, and you do need to install it to make these AI generated subtitles in Magic Subtitles Lite actually work. Now, no affiliation with them at all. I just found it and it works. It makes for a really nice solution. It's been really good, so we integrated with it to make all of this possible. So the very first thing you need to do is to head over to the Vibe website. It's linked down below, and download and install Vibe for your system. While you're here, this is free, so I do recommend, if you can, consider supporting Vibe so they can continue doing what they're doing. I will be doing so as well with a proportion of the money that comes in from Magic Subtitles Lite. Install it, leave the destination folder as it is, and then run Vibe. The very first time that you run it, it will download the OpenAI model, which is required to get this to work. It's about a gig, so it may take a little bit of time depending on your internet connection. Once that's done, I highly recommend that you actually just test it for yourself. Drop in a video file, hit transcribe, and make sure that it actually works on your system, which, as you can see, it's working perfectly on mine. If it does, then you're good to go. You can close down Vibe, leave it installed. It's actually handy to have installed anyway, just in case you want to do some transcriptions without jumping into DaVinci Resolve or whatever. And then you're good to go. You can start using Magic Subtitles Lite. Installation. To get it installed, head over to the link down in the description below to take you to this Magic Subtitles Lite free version. Drop in your email and hit Get Now. You'll end up with a zip file. Just unpack that, open the folder, and you'll see Magic Subtitles Lite.drfx. Double click that. DaVinci Resolve will open and it'll ask you if you wish to install Magic Subtitles Lite. Simply hit Install, and then you should be good to go. Boom! Right, let's actually create some subtitles. So once installed, jump over to the effects library, come down to Titles, Magic Toolkit, Magic Subtitles Lite, and in the free version you just get 2. So there is a create subtitles. There's actually 2 different ways to create the subtitles. You can use this dedicated one. You just bring it on your timeline. It can be wherever you like. Then just give it a click, Open up the inspector, we have some controls. There is also a how-to, so this will just really quickly give you a rough idea of what you need to do. Download, install, check it, make sure it works, whatever. And then we have our controls. We can select the language or leave it as auto. We can select the track that we wish to transcribe. So track 1, track 2, 3, 4, or 5. I'm going to leave it as track 1. And then you can do your characters per sub. Now, the way that Whisper works, it's not particularly accurate if you make this really, really low. So I know some people may want to have it as like 1 word per subtitle. Rather than doing that here, you do that later within Magic Subtitles Lite. Because the way that Whisper works, it kind of groups words together. So if you set it too low, the timing really sort of goes off. So about 35 or 40 is really good for me, I found. You can come a little bit lower or go a bit higher if you want to. And then we've got this transcribe context. I'll give you a demonstration of that in a moment. Then you simply hit create subtitles. And it's just going to take this entire timeline, whichever one you're on. It'll do a really quick export, which again, how long this takes will depend on your system and the length of the timeline. You'll see this pop-up appear. This pop-up won't appear on Mac. You just kind of have to sit and wait, and it should eventually come through. And then your subtitles will appear just like so. Now, let me just delete those. If you want to jump straight into the Magic Subtitles Lite, you can just drop this straight on here, and there is a dedicated Vibe tab which has the same controls. So the Create Subtitles is just there for ease if you just want to drop that on, and then when you're done with it you can delete it, or you can just start straight from this Magic Subtitles Lite. We'll create subtitles once again with the click of a button, and ta-da, we now have subtitles. Now the really cool thing about this is just a standard subtitle track within DaVinci Resolve, which means you can click on the actual track heading over here, open up the subtitles track, amend any spelling, go to the timeline, amend any of the timing if you need to. You just treat it exactly the same as a normal subtitle track in DaVinci Resolve. Then within Magic Subtitles Lite, so I'm still on the Vibe tab, I need to jump over to the Text tab. This little line of buttons here, these are your ingest methods. I'll cover the others later. The main one is this subs. So what this allows you to do, you put this wherever you want to create the subtitles on your actual timeline, then you click subs, and what it will simply do is just gobble up the subtitles above it and bring them into this Magic Subtitles Lite, as you can see here. So the cool thing is, let's just open up the effects library, we'll grab another one, bring this over here. Let's say we want all of this to have a nice subtitle, a nice caption, so we lengthen that out, we give it a click, we hit subs, and there we go. We're ingesting those subtitles from that track into this Magic Subtitles Lite, which we can then customize and do some really cool stuff with. Oh, and before I forget, here's a super quick example of what to do with that transcribe context box. So this timeline here is a conversation between me and Casey for our podcast. So we'll just let this transcription run. And generally speaking, what it likes to do is get his surname wrong, Casey Farris. There's 2 R's in there. So in this context box, let's just do podcast between MrAlexTech and Casey Farris, and then hit create subtitles. And we're just giving the AI, the transcription, just a little bit of context. You don't want to go mad with this and give it too much information, but you can change the style and you can inform it of any spellings or names that you're using that it doesn't recognize. And then hopefully it's now correct. Now, obviously, if that was only incorrect once, you could change it manually once. But if you're saying that over and over again on quite a big timeline, that's incredibly useful. It's smart, right? Now, you can't actually do that in the studio version of DaVinci Resolve. So Blackmagic, if you're looking for any ideas or anything to steal, that would be really, really cool, because if you're using the inbuilt transcriptions or the inbuilt subtitles within the studio version of DaVinci Resolve, just being able to give it some key names and some key spellings and fixes and stuff like that, that it gets it right every time, it's a really cool idea. Now, talking of good ideas, why not check out this video sponsor, AUDIIO. AUDIIO is a music subscription service with music from all sorts of artists, covering all sorts of styles and genres that you can use in all sorts of projects. And just recently, they introduced Elements 2.0. So now you can get studio quality stems for every single song that's available within the AUDIIO catalog. Now you can get access to everything that AUDIIO have to offer using the AUDIIO Pro license, which is available for just $59 for your first year. All you've got to do is use the code ALEX70 at checkout. Or if you want lifetime access to just Damn Music, you can get that using Damn Music lifetime subscription, which is available for just a one-off fee of $199. Just use the code ALEX199 to get that one. Normally, stems aren't included in that lifetime license, but you do have the option to upgrade if you want to, so you can get lifetime music with lifetime access to the stems as well. Nice. Check out the links down in the description below to check out AUDIIO for yourself. Right, let's get back to talking Magic Subtitles Lite. Right, customization. So we've got this Magic Subtitles Lite here, and we've ingested all of these subtitles from above. Now the line breaks will be exactly the same as the actual subtitles on the subtitles track. But if you want to customize them, you can. You can just come into this top box, do a little enter there, and then you click update line breaks. And now we'll have two subtitles at the beginning, timeline open, we click on R. So you can separate them out. If you need to do any spelling fixes, again, the easiest way is to do it within this subtitles track. But if you have ingested them into the Magic Subtitles Lite and then you spot a little error or something you need to fix, you can use these next and previous to jump between the different chunks. And then if we say jump was wrong, we actually wanted it to be dive, then we change it and hit apply change, and it will just apply within here. Then we've got configure, line breaks. So by default, it will be this line break mode. But if you prefer, you can switch over to auto break mode. Auto break will basically take all of these line breaks and then automatically break them up for you based on these controls down here. So if we want to change the words per sub, we can just bring this down to, let's say, 2, and now we get 2 words. Then we select a different timeline. So the timing will be exactly the same, it's just that we're only seeing 2 words at once. Or if you want to go down to 1, you can. And then we can really quickly jump between the 2 timelines. We've also then got things like break at end of sentence. So if we're in auto mode and we're doing, let's say, 12 words per sub, you can see here we have a full stop after project. We may want that to actually end this subtitle. So if we change break to always break, then it will end after that full stop, that period. Above that, we have remove punctuation. So if you don't want any of this punctuation at all, you can click that and it will remove it. There is a little punctuation to remove. So if there's anything else, you can just type it in the box, update, and it will remove that punctuation. Lastly, we've got case. So original case, everything is uppercase, title case, or lowercase. So that kind of the main, I want to adjust the subtitle chunking or whatever kind of controls. The rest of it within here is pretty much a standard text plus. So the text plus titles you've used before in DaVinci Resolve. So if we scroll down to text, we have font. And these are all of your pre-installed fonts. So let's say I want to use something like this one, whatever this is. Then we can change the style, bold or regular. We can change the color. Let's go with a little bit of a yellow. We can change the sizing, the spacing, and the line spacing. We've then got things like justify. We can anchor it to the top or the bottom, the left or the right, using those controls. And at the top, we can go over to layout. It's in a text box by default. So if you click on this little drop down and enable the Fusion overlay, you'll be able to see your text box, and you can just change the size of this. If you don't want that, you can change this to point, or you can change it to something like circle and have a little circle instead, or a path, or whatever you want to do. We can change the rotation. We can put a background on there. We can go to transform and do all of the controls within there. And we can go to shading. So white solid fill, that's the main text color. If we go to number 2 and enable that, we get this red outline. If we wanted the red outline to be blue, we can change it to blue. If we wanted it to be thicker, we could change the thickness. We could change the opacity. We can change all of these controls within here, however you like. Go to number 3, enable a drop shadow. Number 4, customize it to be something else. You just amend all of these as you usually would within a text plus. Simples. Now there is, of course, more you can do with this because I didn't want to have to rely entirely on these AI generated subtitles. There may be instances where someone sends you an SRT file and you want to do it based off that instead. Or you've written a script and you want to create your subtitles using a script instead. There's some cool workflows built into this to allow you to do Just that. So let's say someone sent you an SRT file like I've got here. There's two ways to do this. This is actually a neat trick you might not know you can do in DaVinci Resolve free anyway. If you've got an SRT file, just click, drag, and you'll be able to drop this on your timeline, and it will actually automatically create a subtitle track from that SRT. So if you're using a different service to do your transcriptions, or someone's just sent you an SRT file, drop it on your timeline just like so. Then we can grab Magic Subtitle Lite, put it underneath here, and then grab the subs just like so, and that'll work in exactly the same way. Alternatively, put a Magic Subtitle Lite on the timeline. There is a dedicated SRT button. Give that a click. It will open up your file browser, jump over to the SRT file and double click, and that will just import that SRT with the timings directly into this Magic Subtitles Lite. So you've got everything within here. Once again, you can then go and manually update the line breaks if you need to, fix any spellings within this bottom box and apply changes, and switch over to the auto break mode to change the words per sub and amend it as you need to. So SRT files covered. What about manually just typing things in, or if you've got a bit of a script? So if you've just got a really small section, you just want to do a nice little subtitle, you can. So I've dropped a Magic Subtitle Lite. I'm not going to import anything. I'm just going to type in the box. What do I say here?
And this is something I think everyone should enable.
And this is something I think everyone should enable. I'm doing my spaces where I want my line breaks. Then I'm going to click Dump All. And it's just going to drop those in there.
And this is something I think everyone should enable.
And there you go. So now we've created these subtitles. Now, by clicking on Dump All, it's basically put these subtitles into this Magic Subtitles Lite, but it has no idea of the timing. So then what you can do is click on this Export Markers, and that will put the markers on the timeline that show where those subtitles start, and then you can just tweak them from there.
And this is something
I think needs to start there.
I think everyone should.
And this one should enable.
Everyone
should enable. Then we go back to our Magic Subtitles Lite and we click Markers to pull in those markers. And now we can hit play.
And this is something I think everyone should enable.
And now the timing's pretty good. Alternatively, if you've got a bit of a script like I have here, you can just copy the script. Let's grab the first few lines. We'll copy this. We'll paste this in here. And then rather than clicking on Dump All, there is an individual button. And what this will do, if we put our playhead at the beginning, individual, this is something I think everyone should enable.
And this is something I think everyone should enable.
And then when the next line is about to start, even if you don't really use stacked timelines, there's a button that says End the current chunk, which will end the existing one and start the new one, even if you don't really use stacked timelines.
Even if you don't really use stacked timelines.
Next one.
Because inside that little button hides some really useful little shortcuts.
And there you go. And now we've timed that
and this
perfectly.
Is something I think everyone should enable, even if you don't really use stacked timelines.
If you did get it wrong, you can still come along and just tweak any of these little markers, and then we just click Markers, and that'll pull in those markers just like so.
Everyone should enable.
And there's one last thing I haven't shown you. So if this is all working, but you kind of don't want everything in one big Magic Subtitles Lite, that's super handy because you can obviously customize everything in one place, change all the fonts, do whatever you need to do. But once you've done that, you may then want them as individual text plus on your timeline. So then you can tweak the timing that little bit more just to make sure everything is perfect. You can do that too. So we've got a Magic Subtitles Lite here. We've ingested these subtitles. We've made any changes. We've changed the font. Let's go to shading and maybe put a red outline on here. Let's change the color, make it a black outline. Something like that. And we're happy with this now. The timing's pretty good, but we want to maybe tweak it just that little bit more. All you need to do, jump over to the media pool. Once you've customized your Magic Subtitle Lite, just drag it from the timeline into your media pool, and you'll see you have a Magic Subtitle Lite appear within there. Then on the one on your timeline, go back to the text tab, and there is an export chunks. Give that a click, and it'll export all of the individual lines, the individual subtitles, as their own dedicated text plus on the timeline.
And this is something I think everyone should.
And then you can come along and just tweak these.
And this is something I think everyone should enable.
Should enable.
Should enable. Even if you don't really use stack.
delete any that you don't want,
timeline,
do what you need to do. Ta-da! And that is all available completely for free. Now, try that free version, give it a go. There might be bugs, there might be issues. It's trying to do an awful lot in a relatively limited amount of space, so the UI could be better, but you can't really do much with it. I wanted this to feel really native and built in, and you can do nice pop-ups in the studio version, which work really well. You can't do those in the free version, but try it and let me know. Now, if you do like it and you do want it to do more stuff, you want it to do more word-for-word animations and you want more templates and whatever else, that's where the full version of Magic Subtitles Lite comes in. So I won't bore you too much, but let me give you a quick example to show you what the difference is and what the full version can do. So we've got a timeline here, we've already created the subtitles, we've installed the full version. So rather than just one, we have 33 different templates. You've got single line, which is the same as the free version. We've also then got a double line version, which allows you to do multiple lines and give them different styles. And then all of the others pretty much allow for word animations. So if we grab something like cartoon, bring this down, put this on the timeline, we'll lengthen this out a little bit. All of the buttons are exactly the same, so let's just hit subs. That's going to ingest the subs. But what it will do, it'll take the subtitle, it'll take the start and end times and do its best to try and figure out when the words are being said. So it is key that you make sure these subtitles are as accurate as can be. And then if we hit play, hopefully this will line up pretty well.
And this is something I think everyone should enable, even if you don't really use stacked timelines, because inside that little button hides some really useful little shortcuts.
So if we try a different one, let's go with something like story time. We put this under here, we do the same thing, subs.
And this is something I think everyone should enable.
Now to do this, we're actually using a little word engine thing I built. You can change the speech preset. There's default, casual, educational, dramatic, fast, sports, and comedy. It doesn't do a huge amount, if I'm honest, but it does just tweak things.
Is something I think everyone...
just that little bit. Now let's grab a different one like this sub hub. We'll bring this one over and we'll do the subtitles. Now, because we do have word-for-word animations, that allows us to do other things, like we have a write-on effect, which is on by default for this template, so each of the words appear one by one. We can toggle that off, so then the highlight moves.
I think everyone should enable.
Instead, we can then adjust the animation speed, the offset timing, and all this other stuff. There's also an additional tab for all of these called Style. So if we jump over to Style, we can change all of the animation styles and the backgrounds. So this one, the spoken word is black and we have a yellowy orangey background. If we want the spoken word to be a different color, we can open this up. Let's go with like a blue. And we want the highlight to be, let's just make it a bit audacious, go with red. And now we have this.
And this is something I think...
So you can customize all of the different animations. You can do the start and the end. So if I wanted these to also dissolve in, we can.
This is something I think...
If we wanted to change the tracking of the spoken word, the angle of the spoken word, we can even change some softness and we can put some wobble on all of these. And you can really customize how these look. Now, another great way just to customize the timing to make sure it's perfect. We've ingested this. Let's say we just customize it. We've got it looking however we want it to look. Let's grab this underline to drag it into my media pool. Then I can give this one a click and we will export to the chunks, which will export individual text plus, and each of these will have the word-for-word animations.
Inside that...
Then if you need to customize these, you can. You just drag them over, make them shorter or longer or move them or whatever you need to do. Give it a click, refresh the timing. That'll refresh the word-for-word timing within each of these Magic Subtitles Lite.
Because inside that little...
to make them work. Now, here's a super quick tip. This isn't well documented because I ran out of space, but if you've gone through and you've amended a bunch of these, so you've got the timings perfectly, you know, you've moved all these around to get them nice, but you don't want to have to individually click on all of them and reset the timing. Go back to the main one and then just hit export chunks again. It'll recognize that all of these exist above it, and it'll just go through and refresh all of the timing.
And this is something I think everyone should enable, even if you don't really use stacked timelines.
There you go. Nice. Now let's just grab one more. This one's called Smooth Move. We'll drag this one over. We'll ingest the subs. We have this little animation as they pop in.
Should enable.
We go to style once again and customize this. Let's make the star a bit crazy.
And this is something I think everyone should enable.
Like so. All of these also have a highlight. So if you want certain words to appear in a different color, let's say the word enable, we want to be red, and the word everyone. It's comma separated list. So you type those in, enable, apply. And now when everyone and enable are said,
Everyone should enable.
they're red and everything else stays as white. Last but not least, if you have customized these, there is a built-in saver tool. So let's say this one is called smooth, red, highlight, whatever. And then we'll hit save. You can then just delete this one. You may need to restart DaVinci Resolve to get this to appear, but now within titles and Magic Toolkit, Magic Subtitles Lite, we now have a user subtitles, smooth red highlight. We can bring this down, put it on any timeline in the future. Just hit subs to overwrite what was in there with the new version. And now we have that animation we amended, still with our highlight effect being applied, and it's good to go. Sorry this was a longer video than expected. I like to talk about these things because I'm excited about it and it's taken me ages to make. So there you go, enjoy, let me know your thoughts and feedback and whatever else. Thanks for watching, take it easy, I'll see you next time.